If your Genesis is off, if your Leviticus is off, if your Deuteronomy is off, if your Exodus is off, if your Numbers is off, or the first 5 books, I'm sorry, the first 5 books, if they are off in any kind of way, your revelation is going to be off. Why? Because he came in the volume of the book. Genesis is also connected to Revelation. Right? Yeah. It doesn't matter that Yeshua walked during that time and there was no New Testament. The Most High knew that the New Testament will eventually be written, or what we call the Brit Hadashah, or the renewed covenant was coming. All of this was already factored in even from the beginning of Bereshit in Genesis. And I heard how many were marked with the seal of Yah. 144,000 were sealed from all the tribes of Israel. Right now on the face of the planet, we got 7 billion people. Right? It's what the census says about 2 million people that, proclaim to be Israelites. That's according to the census report. Let's just take that number. It's a small fraction. Out of that 2 million, everybody ain't serving. Come on, right. Everybody ain't serving of God. It's easy to simply measure. See, the standard is Yeshua. Right. You determine who a servant is based on the standard.
That's right. That's right.
You watch how Yeshua talk. You watch how Yeshua interact. You watch how Yeshua act. You watch everything about what he did, his character, his integrity. That determines and decides, and you'll find that you can take away a whole lot of people out of the equation by measuring them to him. Myself, we all have to be measured according to his standard. Why? Because he gave the standard to the apostles. That's right. And they were the ones who gave it to us. So the standard has already been set. And so when we measure these things, we determine who the servants are. So now the angels are looking throughout the 4 corners of the earth for the 144,000. This book, Revelation, is the revelation of who?
Mashiach.
Revelation chapter 1, verse 1. No matter what translation it is. Come on, read it.
The revelation of Jesus Christ.
Okay.
Which God gave unto him to show unto his servants things which must shortly come to pass.
So everything about Revelation and the entire book, but specifically we're dealing with Revelation, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is about the revealing of Hamashiach, right? So everything from chapter 1 to the end of the book points to him again.
There you go.
So these 144 who's chosen, the angels is looking throughout the earth because they're trying to make sure, okay, who got the seal on? Because this seal is the seal of the Lamb. So therefore, when these angels is looking, they ain't looking at how you dress. They ain't looking at things you talking. They looking at, do you got the seal on you? They the only ones that can see the seal. See, if you can see the seal, you'll hang out with it. But because you can't see it, you shun those who he with. Because you're looking on the outside. These angels are spirits. So they looking at things from the perspective of Yah, because they connected to him. And he's standing to see where all the mutants at, right? This is how the angels, they're looking. Where the seal at? But okay, they go one right there. They go one right there. But the standard they're looking to see, do they see the blood on you? All right? So verse number 4, go back to Revelation 7, verse number 4. And I heard how many were marked with the seal of Yah. 144,000 were sealed from all the tribes of Israel. Okay. Who missing?
Dan.
Dan, who else missing? Dan and Ephraim missing. Right? Now, throughout the scripts, when you even include Exodus, you don't find, you find Dan and Ephraim, they came out of the Exodus, correct? They were there. Dan and Ephraim got replaced. So we're looking at Revelation chapter number 7, and we see that 2 tribes got replaced.
Extends from east to west. South of Manasseh is Ephraim.
Wait a minute, so Ephraim got some property. They got an inheritance in the last days when we get in the land. But yet in Revelation, they ain't mentioned. This is very important to understand. So we already see that they still got a promise, but yet they're not mentioned as being sealed of the Most High in Revelation. By the time you get to this time, it's chapter 7, it's starting to gear up for trouble, trouble, trouble. Hasatan fully embodies the son man of sin. The system of Antichrist is already in effect. All this stuff is going, right? But Dan ain't mentioned at all. Ephraim ain't mentioned at all being sealed. But yet it's spoken of them having in the last days. It's spoken of them having an inheritance, which means we know they're going to be in the kingdom. But yet they ain't chosen to have this seal for some reason. That's just crazy. Come on, read verse 21.
Then the Lord will single him out for disaster from all the tribes of Israel.
So who he talking? He talking about Israel. Here's the reason why Dan and Ephraim name is not mentioned in Revelation. Because he's sticking true and holding to his promise. Dan and Ephraim, what make you so special is you did something the others didn't even do. You turned Israel unto other gods. And guess what? You heard these statutes being read about not to do it. What happened when they went to Jericho? Did he tell them, don't take nothing from Jericho, don't touch nothing Jericho, don't try to sit? What Achan do? Achan heard the statute, he heard the command, and he went up there and did straight up, B.O.O.M coming. He gonna just tuck his chain in under his bed. And the Most High came like B.O.O.M on that beach cruiser. What you got on my 40? What you got on my 40? Israel loses the battle to a smaller nation because of disobedience. And guess what? He got blotted out. Not only did he get blotted out, but his whole family got blotted out. The same thing here. The whole tribe of Dan gets blotted out. The whole tribe of Ephraim gets blotted out because they did what the Most High told them not to do. All right?
The animals got blotted out too.
Huh?
The animals got blotted
The
out.
animals got blotted out too. We see that in Egypt. So that means if the animal got blotted out, that ain't just goats and all that. They been cockroaches too. So when the wrath hit your house, the roaches get hit too.
Yeah, we
Roaches like, man, I just found this spot. I don't even know them. Well, it was at their house. The same thing when the police show up. You had some guilt. There you go, sis. Guilty by association. Jeroboam then built up the city of Shechem in the hill country of Ephraim. It is. In the hill country of Ephraim. And it became his capital. Jeroboam took Ephraim's spot and like, oh man, shoot, I'm posted up here. If people feel comfortable enough to sit around you, then it may be because you give them comfort.
Right. You better come on with it now.
Maybe because they know you hang out with them. Maybe it's something you doing that you allow them to get away with. That's why the thing is, you don't have to totally deny Messiah. If you know that people are doing wrong, you say nothing about it. That's the issue. It's the issue. You say nothing about it. We can't keep our mouths closed and believe when we know brothers and sisters are doing wrong. But this became a capital. Verse 25. Later he went and built up the town in Peniel. Jeroboam thought to himself, unless I am careful, the kingdom will return to the dynasty of David. When these people go to Jerusalem to offer sacrifices at the temple of the Elohim, they will again give their allegiance to King Jeroboam of Judah. They will kill me, Rehoboam of Judah. They will kill me and make him their king instead. Verse 28. So on the advice of his counselor, that we can't listen to everybody, the king made 2 gold calves. He said to the people, it is too much trouble for you to worship in Jerusalem. See, even if leadership, see, this is why you got to study to show yourself approved. This is the reason why you can't even take my word for it. You should be taking notes and going back. No more just listening to what somebody tell you. Everything needs to be investigated in today's time. I don't care who teaching and how many followers they got. You need to make sure you look and do your due diligence. Because when the Most High judge you, he going to ask you, did you study to show yourself? Hey, nah, ain't going to be no more race here. More race here, and there's going to be a whole lot of somebody Paul saying that's what will happen. But look what it says here. It says, it is too much trouble for you to worship in Jerusalem. Now, this is what the king telling them not to go to Jerusalem. This is where the Most High set this thing up at. And he's telling them not to do it. And guess what the people do? They're going to listen right to the king. Same way he did today's time. They will listen to everything the pastor says. It's how some of this stuff don't even be in the book. Or it be from a commentary. You preaching from a commentary. Like, oh, that was deep, man. Man, that was deep. It's from a commentary. Most commentaries are from that particular person's perspective. It's not even so much Bible. And yet people ride on and listen to it and be accepted. Man, he preached up so. The whole message was commentary. The whole entire message. Look what it says here. It says, he says here, it is too much trouble for you to worship in Jerusalem. Look, Israel, these are the gods who brought you out of Egypt. Listen now, he says, look, Israel, when he's talking to a specific group of people. Dan and Ephraim, where he set it up at. He's identifying who they are, and they don't even have sense enough to say, first of all, Hasatan didn't even change his strategy. He set up the golden calf when Moshe went on the mountain. And then he come right back again through Jeroboam and set up 2 golden calves. Y'all remember that? You don't remember?
We gonna double it up for you.
We're going to double up the sin for you. We're going to put the legions on it. You rebuke 1 calf.
Right.
Then you open up your hearts and now double portion come. 2 golden calves, Ephraim. Then he tell you, don't go to Jerusalem. You're going to stay right here and worship these calves right here. Not only that, but he said these who delivered you. See, that's a bad thing. When you start talking about I did it. When you start talking about I did something, when the scripture even tells us Deuteronomy, need not say that my hands have gotten me this wealth. When you start prospering, you're in trouble when you start thinking that you did something. You better be careful how you let people elevate you. You will become arrogant. You become conceited. And the more things are working, and the more you growing, and the more people start changing your name, you will get it twisted and thinking it's you. And it is me. You start thinking you're a star. You start thinking you got all the knowledge. Then you start bringing it back to me. Boom, the only one got all the knowledge over you. Ain't nobody else got no knowledge but Boom. Then I start telling y'all, then y'all start going out and saying it. Because the same wicked golden calf that's on me in my heart, I put it on y'all. And y'all embrace it. Y'all go out there. Yeah, you ain't in Boom. You ain't got the truth. Yeshua ain't even with nobody else but us. He the only one over here. He hang out over here. He stay over here bad in the back. That's the type type of stuff got going on. We have to be careful. We have to be very careful not to set ourselves up, even unconsciously, as idols. I am not freaking struck down for nobody. I know who the king is. You better believe that. I know who the king is. I know who's going to get the glory. Now, there's nothing wrong with honoring people, preaching thank you, you're doing a great job. He placed these calf idols in Bethel and in Dan at either end of his kingdom. But this became a great sin, for the people worshiped the idols, traveling as far north as Dan to worship the one there. Now we know that Dan's kingdom stretched wide. It was way on the other side. They traveling all the way from doggone Nashville to Atlanta to come worship some doggone idols. But yet they won't travel to Jerusalem. All because the orders of the so-called king. They ain't learned from Saul. You can be a king and the Most High still not be with you. Your position don't determine if he with you. Revelation 14, New Living Translation, verse number 1. Then I saw the Lamb standing on Mount Zion, and with him were 144,000. Now we've seen in Revelation 7 the 144,000, right, being sealed. 9:14, the 144,000 standing with Hamashiach, who had his name and his father's name written on their foreheads. We're going to get into his name in a minute. And I heard a sound from heaven, like the roar of mighty ocean waves, or the rolling of loud thunder. It was like the sound of many harpists playing together. This great choir sang. So see, for all y'all who want to sing, don't go ahead. For all y'all that don't like worship, don't go to New Jerusalem. Okay, you ain't going if you don't like worship. No, that's emotional. That thing, you know, they try to be emotional. That thing, you know, I got a Christian. Listen, man, this worship stuff, listen, it ain't stopping. Eternity has no time. Look, ain't no sleep. Ain't no I'm tired. Ain't no I need some tea because I'm woke. That's that. If you don't like to worship, he see, again, I told you, my shot the standard, right? He the standard. So if he the standard, how do you separate who's not a part and who is? If they don't like worship, I ain't rocking with you. I ain't rocking with you because in the scriptures, we see right here in the New Jerusalem, these folks standing, these 144,000 standing with the Mashiach, and they got a choir. You talking about he coming out like what's his name? Who is the man? He got thieves. They're blowing. They're standing sisters over here and the brothers on that side. Who is the man? And then the sisters over here talking, oh Christ. Can you dig it? Yeah.
Talk about Christ.
Yeshua. Can you dig it? Shut your mouth. They out there singing, worshiping. It said they got a choir. No, hold on. It said a great choir.
Great choir.
They got a mass choir. Some people assignment in the kingdom is just going to be the same. They're going to be a part of the choir.
Come on. Yes, sir.
This kingdom requires
heaven and earth.
And then we're not even going to talk about how tall the walls are. We'll get in that lesson later, how tall, how massive the walls are. And then they got cherubim standing at the gate. Because the walls high, you imagine how big they is. And yet, we limit the Most High what He can do for us in our life.
Come on.
You doubt healing?
Right.
You doubt healing? That's a small thing. Shaul Paul even talks about healings and walking on water and miracles. These are the elementary things of y'all. Elementary. I mean, there's something deeper to Him than other than just praising the dead. Y'all should have been doing that. That's what He said. We should have been doing that. This is why it was simple. It was a simple thing for the apostles. They just walked through the city. They talk, hey man, what you doing today? What, you gonna watch the game? Dude got up. Man, they ain't gotta talk to them. That's the type of power I'm talking about. Not the type of education. I'm talking power. During the time of the apostles and their disciples, and during the time of Yeshua, that man legs would have grown back. It's all right. Simply because all they had to do was speak to it. We trying to be deep, and we won't even speak to our situation. Speak to it. It's simple words. It's not the simplicity of the intellect behind the words. It's the faith behind it. If you never speak to it, how can it come to fruition? Speak to it. Stop complaining and speak to it. Nothing too hard for the Most High. The difficult is you. It ain't difficult to Him. Nothing is too impossible. Nothing is too hard. It's hard for those that doubt and don't believe. And when I speak it, I don't have to be there to see it manifest. See, when your faith get to that place to where, see, this is what talking 144,000. When your faith get to that place where you can declare it and speak it and don't have to be around to see it happen, and I ain't got to be here to see it happen. Whatever take place and when it take place, I don't have to be here to see it. The problem is, the reason why a lot of things ain't manifest yet, because the Most High know you want to see it. Because you know why? You want to be able to say, I the one did that. That's really what it's about. It ain't really about that person. It's about you. You really want to see it. So you can have some type of rank to say, I did it. Yeah, you know, such and such, she wouldn't be in that situation if it wasn't for me. See, the Most High know your heart. That's why He's going to let somebody come along that don't know such and such, and they going to speak it. And when it happens, you're going to look around and you're going to be a hater. And as soon as you hate on her deliverance, you're going to need one. You're going to need one. Let me see it happen. I read in the scripture, the Most High said He's going to put us back in our land. You got to go to the land. They're not going to, they ain't no going to visit. They're going to move over there. People say, oh, you know, hey brother, we gonna move over to Israel. Okay, y'all move. Y'all move. It say He's sealing Israelites through the four corners of the earth. So wherever I'm at, that's where I'm getting sealed. And when it's time to go in the second Exodus, wherever I'm at, that's where I'm going to be delivered from. So I might be at the job changing the tire casing. When it's time to go, you're going to hear that sound. Oh, it's time to go. You're going to leave the tool wrench there and everything. Time to go. Yeah, you know, the second Exodus coming. You better get prepared. Okay, you get prepared. You quit your job. These bills still coming. I'm going to pay bills until it's time to go. Caught up in this foolishness if you want to. Told you everybody ain't a servant out here. We got a lot of people who want to be served.
That's right.
That's it right there. That's it right there.
Look what he says here. In verse number 1, Revelation 14. Then I saw the Lamb standing at the Mount Zion, on Mount Zion. And with him were 144,000 who had his name and his father's name written on their forehead. I want the Most High. I want the Most High to know me, and I want his son to know me too. And I heard a sound from heaven like a roar of a mighty ocean of waves rolling, of loud thunder. It was like the sound of many harpists playing together, not divided, playing together. Right? This great choir sang a wonderful new song. I mean, y'all ain't heard this song before. See, when the Ruach is in you, you'll make up a song. You'll say songs, and you don't know where that came from, girl. You'll hear a note that you ain't never heard. Where that came from, girl, that note. Girl, you sung that B flat. I don't know where it came from. I don't know either. Then when you get out of the Ruach, you go home and try to replicate it. Don't work. It don't work. It don't happen for you again. You're like, don't worry about it. I recorded it. If it was in the group, I'm going to listen to it again. Try to replicate it. No, you can't replicate the Ruach. You can't replicate it. They sung a new song in front of the throne. What? You see, listen, man. This choir, they ain't just the ordinary choir. This choir ain't singing in the nosebleed. This choir is before the throne of Yah. They singing in, which means that they have yielded themselves totally to even be in front of the presence of Yah. Everybody don't get to be in the presence of Yah. Not like that. They yielded themselves. Look what it says here. It says, no one could learn this song except the 144,000. You can't learn this. You can't learn this. Huh?
That's that limber song.
Limber song, yeah. You can't learn this. You see that, brother? It's not only are they singing in the presence of God in front of him, and guess what? And the people that they sing into, they standing with Hamashiach. The only people that can hear the voice behind the Ruach is those who have the seal. You can't know a demon or a devil without the seal of Yahweh. You have to have something that's not of this world to be able to distinguish the sound that's coming. Because guess what? When the brothers were walking, when Paul and the Barnabas were walking, and Lydia was following them, she said, these are the men of the Most High God. This is what she said, Lydia was. Now, those who don't have the seal, they're like, yeah, I am a man of the Most High God. But Paul said, he heard the sound behind the voice. And he rebuked the demon. Now, the demon is simply declaring who they are as men of God. But yet it was the intent and the sound waves that did not match the sound that came from the Shabbaim. When you're listening and when you're trying to determine who the Most High is with, the heaven has a specific sound. A specific sound that radiates not only from worship, but it also radiates from teaching. Because everything flows from the heavens through the earth. And when it flows from the heaven through the earth, there's no confusing where it's coming from. But yet, everybody's trying to listen with their natural ear. No, you gotta have the ears of the Lord, the ears of the Spirit, to recognize when the Most High is speaking. This is the reason I can only just get to him. The one with issue, I can just get to him. I can just touch the hem of his garment. I don't even have to be up in the who's who crowd. I just want to get to know him. Those who have the seal on them, the 144,000, they just want to know him. Because the revelation of salvation only comes through Yeshua HaMashiach. It don't come through nobody else. Listen what he says. In verse number 3. No one could learn this song except the 144,000 who had been redeemed from the earth.
Redeemed.
The people, these 12 tribes, these 144,000, the reason why they standing with Hamashiach because they've been redeemed from the earth. Their name ain't there. Ephraim's name not there. You know why? It's because they don't have the seal, which means Dan and Ephraim got to go through hell, through the tribulation without the seal on them. So if you are an Israelite, you better make sure that your forefathers didn't mess your behind up. Because you might be a part of Dan, and you might be a part of Ephraim posing as Judah. And wondering why you catching so much hell, because it didn't have nothing to do with the devil, but it had everything to do with your forefathers. Dan and Ephraim, they redeemed. Joseph tribe is, because they didn't turn the Most High's people against him. But Dan and Ephraim did.